7 to 11. So we just want to look at it before we leave. And honestly, it's not, as I said, it's not musicians, God bless you everywhere, and everybody who is here. And I want to encourage you before I leave. The reason I want to encourage you, I want everybody to volunteer in your heart from this church that whatever happens, we're going to stand by the ministry. I want to tell you that first. Don't get excited over the fact that there's another church on the up the road or down the road. Tell yourself, whatever happens, I will be there for the long haul. Come on. Squeeze the neighbor and say, I'll be here for the long haul. Come on, members, down the road now. Tell somebody, I'll be here for the long haul. Because the reason I want to tell you like this is that there's no ministry that don't have its ups and downs. But if you can hang on there, I can guarantee you that God will come through for you. Sometimes the blessing is just around the corner. Have you ever given up when the blessing was nigh and you didn't know? How many persons ever stood at a bus stop and went back inside because the bus took so long to come? And the moment you went inside, the bus came. And you said, Lord, if I'd only waited. Well, I guarantee you that if you stick with the ministry, somehow, in my spirit, I just feel as if God is going to do something supernatural. But you have got to stick with it and do some work. So squeeze the neighbor hand and say, I am a worker. Not a bystander, but a worker. You see how many messages I've preached already? I am a worker and not a bystander. Because too many persons are bystanders in ministry. We're only excited when we are used, but we're not willing to do any other work if we're bypassed. But sometimes you're not called to the ministry to do anything else than be an encourager. And just by presenting yourself here, you have encouraged somebody. And so I want you to guarantee that. All right, listen, I should preach. It's too late, but we're going to talk. Revelation 3 verse 7. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia, right? And to the angel here means to the pastor. And Philadelphia really means brotherly love. And since they choose a scripture today, or for this day, it means somewhere, somehow, it doesn't matter what happened, we are our brother's keeper. Oh, am I in the right church? Now the next, the other scripture that comes with this is from Ephesians, and it speaks about putting on the whole. But in a nutshell, I want to capsule that. And what I want to say, sometimes Red, you put on the whole armor. But there are times, for example, when David in the book of Samuel got weak. And somebody wanted to kill him. But there was a servant that stood with David. So it doesn't matter what happened, you've got to stand with your pastor. When you stand with her, you help to gird her with the armor. Because there are times, if you notice even in the Bible, Goliath in 1 Samuel chapter 17, Goliath had on his armor. And his armor was so heavy. And if you notice, Goliath threw 6 types of armor. And 6 is the number of man. He had a spear, he had everything. But there was something that was special about Goliath. Goliath chose a servant to carry his shield. There are times that pastor might not have to call you, but you should be willing to carry the shield. Now watch this. What is a shield? It meant when the enemy attacked Goliath, the person who bore the shield had to stand up first to the enemy. Sometimes you've got to stand up in front of the enemy for your pastor, and then allow her to manipulate enough around the enemy to destroy the enemy. So every now and then when she calls for prayer meeting, you need to make sure you're here. And make sure you're here with your entire being. Sometimes you might be tired and feel like going home. This should not only be the responsibility of Brother Marco to be here. It should be the responsibility of everybody to be here. So whatever you do, you ensure that you are here. Because she might not be able to take on the physical armor. But if you shield her with the sword of the Spirit in your prayers, can I talk to you? If you shield her with some stuff, you will then give her enough time to get on her knees and cover you. Every now and then we have got to understand that we have a responsibility in the house of God. That's why when you come to the house of God, and sometimes you even feel depressed, just because you're supporting your pastor, every now and then you've got to have a shout. Sometimes you don't even feel like praising God, leading somebody and say, sometimes I don't feel like it. But guess what happened? The Bible said God inhabits your praise. So every now and then you've got to give a crazy praise that helps to hold up the pastor's hand. You might not understand the value of a praise. The value of a praise is like an armor. Because when you praise God and God inhabits your praise, and you stand up beside your pastor, it means God is standing right beside her. And then she can do a lot of things in the Spirit. Touch your neighbor and say, why is he preaching? And he said he was going to talk. So every now and then you've got to understand your responsibility. Is there anybody in the house tonight understand who you are? So let's move from the armor and go to Revelation. In the book of Revelation, there are 7 churches. And as the minister was saying, 7 is God's perfect number. But when these 7 churches get together, it's really about one church. However, you chose a team from Philadelphia. Now, Philadelphia means brotherly love. Touch somebody and say, oh, he's talking good. Now, Philadelphia was located in the province of Lydia. Now, Lydia was called the city of purple. Now, your church is located in Kingston. And Kingston is called the capital. You have got to ensure that you do something in the city to change the city. Now, Lydia was a purple city. So every time they call the name Philadelphia, they have to talk about Lydia. So every time that they talk about Kingston, they lean on somebody and say, they have got to talk about this church. Yes, man, they have got to talk about this church. Oh, you don't get it yet, you don't get it yet. They have got to talk about this church. Why have they got to talk about this church? Because you have accepted your mother and you said your mother is a praying warrior. So every time they talk about this church and somebody needs to be prayed for, they've got to say, you've got to come to this church. So that is why you've got to uphold, come on, the mother of your church. So when you get in church, you cannot do anything funny or anything crazy. You have got to understand your responsibility. Squeeze the neighbor and say, why I didn't see you at the last prayer meeting? Don't you know that you have got to come to church to uphold your mama? Am I talking to you right now? Come on. Why have you got to come to church? You have got to understand that you are in the church in Lydia and Philadelphia, and that church is called the Brotherly Church. Now in Lydia was really located in Turkey, modern Turkey. And modern Turkey was a beautiful country. But somewhere in that little part, there was a church that was called Philadelphia. Philadelphia was a church of love. You can come to church and everything exposed, but if you don't have love, you will not be able to succeed. Now you've got to understand that love means God. Because God is love. God is not a substance of love, but God is love. So when you get into church, if you are somebody that is in love, you're in God. Because the whole essence of God is love. Lean on somebody and say, if you don't have love, you don't have God. So tell somebody, excuse me for my behavior. When I came to church and act up, it was because I was not really in love. But I'm so in love right now that before I leave here, I'm going to give you my best hug. But touch somebody and say, I'm not so much in love with you. I am in love with God. That is why every time I come to church, I've got to have a praise. Can I talk to somebody up in here? So if you get to church and you have a praise, every now and then you've got to have a shout. Can I talk to somebody like I feel it? Look at somebody and say, I'm so in love with God that I just feel like lifting up the name of Jesus. Can I preach like I feel it for a few moments? Tell somebody, I'm in the Philadelphia church, and the Philadelphia church is a church of love. The Philadelphia church is a church of praise. The Philadelphia church is a church of shouters. The Philadelphia church is a special church. That's why when I walk up in here, I've got to have a shout. I've got to have a praise. I've got to be anointed. Lean on somebody and say, shout like you're crazy. It's because I love you. I am fighting for you. Because of love, I am a warrior. And every warrior has got to have a praise. Open your mouth like you're crazy. And give God a praise. I'm feeling a praise coming on. I'm feeling a shout coming on. I'm feeling that. Slow this up. Slow this up. The Philadelphia church is a church that God said, you are special. Put your hand in somebody's hand and say, I'm special. I'm so special that when I squeeze you, everything that's in me, it's gotta be transferred to you. If I am anointed, you're gonna feel it. If I'm full of the Holy Ghost, you're gonna feel it. If I'm full of glory, you're gonna feel it. Something is happening up in here. There's a glory, there's a power, there's an anointing. The word. And this one, Philadelphia was located in the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation is called the Apocalypse. The Apocalypse. It means the book that reveals something. Hear what they say. If you want to understand Revelation, you've got to be in the Spirit. Now you are located in this backside of Kingston. Nobody don't know you. Like how they don't know the book of Revelation. But in Kingston you are situated. Oh, you don't get it. It's the first I'm trying to give you the message. So tell somebody, I am not yet revealed, but you are powerful. I'm not yet revealed, but you are anointed. Can I preach to you right now? Yes! Slow. In this anniversary, nobody don't know you yet. That's why they don't visit you yet. But come with the musician. Give yourself a dance. Give yourself a shout. You're gonna be revealed. You're gonna be revealed. Shandalabalalabosa. Rev, let me show you something. You gave me this, so I'm trying to preach through it. In Revelation, It was like a church called for the devil. Full of love. Full of the anointing. But cover up. Stop worrying about that big sin. You're covering it up right now. But when God, get over here, get over here, get over here, get over here with power, get over here with the anointing. Squeeze somebody and say, stay focused. Because here's the message. In verse 7 of the church in Philadelphia, right? These things say he who is holy, he who is of the truth, he who has the key. Reach in your pocket and pull out a key and say, God is getting ready to push it somewhere to open doors. Oh, they didn't get that, they didn't get that. Anybody who has a key, push it somewhere, turn it and turn it with a praise. Can I close right now? Turn it with a shout. Turn it with a dance. You are the Philadelphia church, and the Philadelphia church need to take out your key and begin to worship. The Philadelphia church, turn the key with some praise, turn the key with some shout, turn the key with some dance. Shout Philadelphia, shout Philadelphia, shout. Sit on a minute. The message is really about an anniversary. If you shout it out, you won't get it. Give me 3 more minutes, I'm going to shout, I promise you. But everybody has got to understand your responsibility. The first thing you need is your armor. You must have chosen this deeper purpose. So if you have an armor, one thing I realize in Ephesians 5, Ephesians 6 written by Paul, there was nothing at the back to defend yourself. So God don't expect you to turn your back on the enemy. God, I don't know who I'm talking to. So when something happens, turn around, draw your weapon of praise, draw your weapon of praise. Look at the devil and say, this is shootout. I'm in islands. You don't care what you say. Shut down. Yes! Can I preach? I can feel it. Can I preach? And devil, we not missing. That's why we not turn me back. Give me a crazy praiser. Shoot! Shoot like you're crazy. Take out the enemy. 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 The devil is a liar. Take it out. Take him out to the ground. Live down and take out the enemy. Live down and take out the enemy. Take it out. I'm not going everywhere. I don't care what the devil says. I don't care. much nice and you don't hear good message. It's not because you don't love. Why you going to take out the enemy? But you have got to be prepared first with your armor. And when you're prepared, God now say, you're the Philadelphia church. Use that same armor. Not everybody around you might be as strong as you. But reach over in love. Squeeze your neighbor and say, I've got your back. Because I'm part of the Philadelphia church. Squeeze your neighbor and say, I've got your back, I've got your back, I've got your back. I'm so anointed, I won't leave you. Can I preach for 2 minutes? I'm so anointed, I won't leave you. I've got your back. I've got your back. I've got your back. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. 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 Thank you, Jesus. I've got your back.